Welcome to my channel, The Historic State. Before we begin the deep analysis of the 2 minutes that redefined the meaning of covert expertise and embarrassed an entire wing of the CIA, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe right now. Your singular support is the only engine that keeps these high-stakes intelligence stories of quiet, technological brilliance alive and trending. Now, let's look into the architecture of silence. A CIA safehouse is not merely a building. It is a covert ecosystem of total secrecy, absolute paranoia, and layered defense. Here, every shadow is a potential threat, every flicker of light is a system status warning, and every person must justify their exact presence and utility. But what happens when the very architect of that safe house, a legend of the field, makes a fatal miscalculation, judging a book by its utterly neutral cover? What is the cost of underestimating the person in the quietest chair? Today, we bring you the chilling, almost surgical story of Senior Agent Marcus Sterling, a man whose call sign was Brick and who believed competence was measured in bullet casings and years spent kicking down doors, and Analyst Lena Petrova, a young woman hired in Sterling's dismissive terms for her perfect typing speed and utter lack of perceived threat. Sterling publicly scoffed at her, reducing her role to that of a glorified data clerk. He was tragically, catastrophically wrong. When their safe house was violently and intelligently compromised by an elite digital adversary, Lena's immediate response was not panic, but a demonstration of counterintelligence skills so precise, so devastatingly advanced, that she didn't just save their lives. She exposed the entire conspiracy, leaving the senior agent profoundly and existentially humbled. Our primary stage is Safehouse Delta, a digital fortress hidden deep within a major metropolitan hub. Senior Agent Marcus Sterling was the definition of an old-school field veteran. He had survived bombings, assassinations, and complex double crosses. He trusted nothing and no one, especially not anything that couldn't bleed or be physically contained. And then there was Analyst Lena Petrova. Lena was brought in purely for high-volume support. She sat silently, diligently entering highly encrypted data. Her uniform was a neutral sweater. Her expression always calm, her physical presence deliberately small. For Sterling, she represented the zero-threat periphery of the agency. He equated her silence with a lack of ambition and her position with technical servitude in Petrova. Make absolutely certain those firewall logs are time-stamped down to the microsecond, and double-check the asset IDs against the master manifest. It's mind-numbing, repetitive work, I realize. But someone has to do the boring, necessary stuff while the rest of us worry about physical survival and kinetic threat resolution. Lena never offered a defense. She understood that her greatest asset was her ability to be invisible, unremarkable, and underestimated. While Sterling focused on the perimeter walls, the locks, and the visual field, Lena's mind processed the metadata streams, the network anomalies, and the electronic signatures flowing beneath the floors. She had internalized the entire CIA counterintelligence manual not as a suggestion, but as the unbreakable master code of the digital battlefield. Sterling saw a clerk who was good at typing. Lena saw the entire matrix of vulnerability that Sterling was completely blind to. Intrusion was sudden, aggressive, and surgically precise. It was a synchronized breach, hitting both the digital network and the physical entry points simultaneously. The main lights flickered and died. Secured doors locked and unlocked erratically in a rhythm of chaos. The safe house, designed to be an impenetrable fortress, was instantly compromised. No! Damn it! Perimeter breach. Jamming signal is active. Lena, hit the hard reboot on the encryption server. Override the core lock. Go. Now in Sterling's training immediately reverted to kinetic defense. He grabbed his weapon, preparing for the inevitable physical confrontation, relying on raw instinct. He was staring at the doors, preparing to engage in a gunfight. But brute force was useless against the digital cancer that was already extracting their most sensitive data. The system had been designed for a brute force attack. This was a surgical theft. The hard reboot failed immediately. The jammer was suppressing all outgoing communication. While Sterling was preparing for the physical fight, Lena was already operating in the fourth dimension of espionage. She didn't waste a single millisecond on the failed reboot or the outdated override protocol. She had analyzed the entire system failure as a single, unified, complex signature .n. She performed a move that the standard operating manuals deemed impossible under active jamming, an improvised, multi-layered signal injection and reverse trace. She was not rebooting the firewall. She was aggressively rewriting the firewall using the intruder's own digital signature as a tracer payload. She was turning the weapon back on its owner. And network control is gone, Agent Sterling. Do not fire the weapon. This is not a physical assault. It is a remote data extraction. They want the asset logs. I am routing the compromised signal back to its source using the residual jammer frequency. I need you to hold position. And Lena's hands didn't hesitate. She executed a perfect, complex digital boomerang maneuver. She didn't fight the attack. She sent the attack back with a location tracking payload. Within seconds, the red intrusion alerts vanished. The monitors turned green. The entire complex attack was over. NTHE's safe house was instantly secured. The sensitive data was safe. Lena Petrova, the glorified data clerk, simply wiped the slight sweat from her brow, adjusted her neutral sweater, and turned to face the dumbfounded senior agent N, compromise neutralized, Agent Sterling. Origin is a known hostile proxy in Zurich, Switzerland. The protocol requires us to immediately transfer the geolocation to Section 6 for kinetic follow-up, pending director approval, and Petrova. How in the hell did you do that? Route the jammer? Reverse engineer the signature? Who trained you to operate at that level of digital combat? That's not data entry. That's ghost work. Lena simply allowed a small, knowing, almost pitying smile to touch her lips. An expression that contained all the secrets of the digital world. Then Sterling, stand down and secure your perimeter. You are extremely lucky you had Analyst Petrova in that room. Let me clarify something that should have been obvious to a man of your experience. Lena Petrova is not here for typing speed. She is the lead architect of Project Chimera, the agency's most advanced and compartmentalized counterintelligence AI program. She's a network ghost who literally designed the protocols you failed to execute. She operates on a level that your kinetic training simply cannot comprehend. Known Sterling had scoffed at a genius, a master technician who operated on a plane of existence he couldn't even comprehend. He had trusted his gun over the mind that designed the battlefield itself. His career was defined by physical survival. Hers was defined by digital omniscience. NIN analyst Lena Petrova simply returned to her seat, her silence now carrying the weight of a nuclear arsenal. Her quiet brilliance had instantly neutralized a catastrophic surgical attack and exposed an entire foreign conspiracy in seconds. NNSHE taught the field veteran a brutal, undeniable lesson. The most dangerous threat in the intelligence world is often the quiet genius you mistake for a background detail. True power doesn't kick down doors or shout commands. It simply rewrites the rules of the house from the shadows. NNT thank you for watching The Historic State. If this story of digital mastery, shattered arrogance, and the ultimate network ghost moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us, in the future of espionage, do you trust physical force or network intelligence? Because here, we know that the greatest strength is not the gun you carry, but the mind that hacks the enemy's mind and wins the war before it begins.